welcome to the School Board of Greenville Board Meeting, June 16, 2020. It is approximately 7:18. We apologize. We went a little over an executive session, so we will now begin with the prayer. I will ask Ms. Linda Morrison-Fair if she would be so kind in leading us in prayer, and then Mr. Sutton will continue with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let us pray. Dear God, as this day and each day begins, we reach for your hand, confident that you will guide us through the turbulence as you so faithfully have guided us through the calm. Amen.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. And be seated. At this time, at 2.01, election of board officers, I will turn this part over to Ms. Linda Morrison-Fair, since she was chairman of receiving the nominations.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Tonight, we comply with policy BBAA, which establishes the structure and the process for the election of board officers. I want to make sure that I read the purpose. To establish the structure and process for board officer elections, and the purpose is to encourage a culture of mentorship and an eye toward building future leaders. To promote a seamless leadership transition that honors each board member. To help blend veteran and new board members' member perspectives into a well-governed and effective policymaking team. To be strategic and incorporate forward thinking about future leadership needs. To allow any board member to run for an office and foster a climate in which each board member feels valued, respected, and prepared. With that being said, we will proceed with the election of the board officers. There were 3 names submitted and all of the documentation that appears on board docs. Tonight, we will vote individually on each position. And we will vote according to the policy by show of hands. First office would be the office of chairman. There was 1 name submitted, and that name was Linda Leventis-Wells. All those in favor of Mrs. Leventis-Wells, please show all of your hands. Please show your hands. That looks unanimous, and Mrs. Linda Leventis-Wells will be the board chairman of the upcoming year. I turn this back over to the chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Linda Morrison-Fair. I appreciate that. Thank you, board trustees. I appreciate your confidence in my ability, and I look forward to working with all of you. At this time, I will, we have a nomination for vice chair, Ms. Lisa Wells, very well qualified. The name was submitted, following procedures. All those in favor of Mrs. Lisa Wells, please raise your right hand. All opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Wells. Congratulations on board chair. Secretary for the board, Mr. Derek Lewis. Mr. Derek Lewis submitted his paperwork. He is the one that has been nominated. All in favor, please address by raising your right hand. All opposed? It passes unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Lewis. I'd like to thank Dr. Cristobal Connor and Mrs. Debbie Bush for implementing this policy. This was a very easy process tonight. I appreciate that. Dr. Cristobal Connor.
Yes, if I may, Ms. Morris, how long have you served as secretary? 2 terms. 2 terms. I just want to say that when I was chair and you were secretary, it made my work just more joyous. Your very presence and the way you work so hard every day in your district and were willing to talk to me at midnight whenever you got finished with all that, for long periods of time as we studied and prepared and worked. And I just really wanted to say that it was my honor to work with you as part of the leadership team when you were secretary. And I really enjoyed seeing you work with the current team as well. And I just wanted to say, I really appreciate you serving in that role so well as you have for 2 terms.
Dr. Molly Connor. I too would like to commend Ms. Linda Marston there. She is, she's very fair, just as her last name says. She's very fair. She's very understanding, passionate, and she's always there. And has a good heart, a big heart, and always gives our prayer. So we are very blessed to have you. Thank you so much. Derek, you have some big shoes to fill, but I know you'll do well. And if you don't, Ms. Linda Marston there will let you know. So with that being said, we'll move on. The adoption of consent calendar. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion to approve.
Okay. And it was, motion to approve was Mr. Suddeth, and the second was Ms. Goodwin Caldwell. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please address by raising your right hand or saying aye. All those opposed, it passes unanimously. The calendar has been approved. 4.01 Superintendent's Report. Dr. Royster.
Dude,
Good evening.
Hey,
just buying time till I get the either the clicker or Nancy.
You have the clicker.
Thank you. So all you have to do is put it up there. Good. I decide. I wanted to take this opportunity tonight to just very briefly share about graduation. All of you were there. Some of you were quite a few. Ms. Elizabeth Wells, I believe, set a record by being at every one of them. A record I don't know that may ever be met or broken again in the future. So, but I know all of you put forth effort to be at graduations. Many of you attended multiple ones. I guess if I were placing them in order, Ms. Goodwin Caldwell might be right there in a close second, Ms. Wells and Linda Marson Fair. But perhaps tied for second or a close third. There were quite a few of them. It went very well. You all saw the front side of it. We'll talk a little bit about the behind the scenes. Sometime.
sorry, that was me. She couldn't see it.
All right. Got nothing. I didn't say it wrong. All right, so you may have to advance this for me, but 8 work days before the first graduation, we met over at Bon Secours with their management. I think they had trouble believing that we could do what we told them we could do, what our people could do. So we demonstrated how they could be, our folks could clean, disinfect a section of seats, how long it took them to do it. 300 seats, slightly over 5 minutes. We revised and refined that a little bit, and we got to where we could do more than that in a shorter period of time. 7 work days before the first scheduled graduation, we had the first meeting with principals and graduation planners, kind of their key people that run the graduations for their school. And we finalized the agreement in principle with Bon Secours Arena. 4 work days before the first scheduled graduation, at the second and the final graduation meeting with principals and planners from schools. 3 days before, there was really, if you want to call it another meeting, that says it's the final meeting, but an on-site walkthrough at Bon Secours to lay out the graduations. You all observed them, they were all laid out to have the same motion, go through the same process, no matter what size school it was. And only one school could be seated solely on the floor. Beyond our smallest high school, they began to have to be seated in that first tier of seats. But it was all set up to ensure that we maintained all those social distancing protocols, no matter how many people came through, and without regard to the fact they had really little to no direction before they got there, other than we said, here are the expectations. You have to wear a mask to come in, you have to maintain 6 feet apart, and you have assigned seats. The seating in and of itself was a huge undertaking. It's not specifically listed in here, but we took a diagram of the arena. Mr. Reimer did a great deal of this work with some help from a few other people. We basically plotted 2 seats together, making sure there were 6 feet on either side of them throughout that arena to accommodate from the smallest to the largest school's guests and to accommodate their graduates that couldn't be seated on the floor. So during that 2 weeks, we graduated 4,688 students. We had 9,376 guests who viewed the ceremony inside the arena. Ms. Brinkman, do we know how many viewed it live stream?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can tell you that some of them have gone back and been viewed as many as 30,000 times. Wow.
So we were live streaming it. It's out there. You can continue however many times you want to watch your child graduate. You can watch them graduate in perpetuity, I guess. So we had to do all that. That's something obviously we don't normally do. We don't normally live stream. Schools do their own thing. Some of them might have done some Facebook Live. Never an undertaking at this level or to this degree. We had 750 school staff that came through Bon Secours Wellness Arena. In addition to that, approximately 281 district staff, maintenance staff, security, and police came through there on a daily basis. For a total of about 2,250 staff and support people. Total over that period of time, 17,064 people passed through there. Every one of them had their temperature checked every time they entered the door. Every one of them was kept 6 feet apart once they entered into the arena, into the property, and they had to wear their mask in transit. All of that, 17,000 people over that period of time. Had extreme high level of communication with folks to ensure they knew what to do once they got there. And all those graduations were done limited to the practice they had when they showed up that day, and they gave some instruction as to what students should do. We did not have to turn away any of the 17,000 individuals. We did have a few that, because they stood around outside, talking on the phone to some of them, they heated up enough that they had to sit and cool down a little bit when they came in. Their temperature might have gotten a little high, but no one had to be turned away. And we had no major incidents really of any kind, not just not practicing social distancing. We had that many people together in that space and had really no issues. That was a huge undertaking, but our students, we believe, certainly deserved that. There were so many things that they did not get to enjoy by having such an unusual senior year. But it's certainly a great example of what our district can do, our employees, some of the partners we had in this, what we could do on behalf of our students. We're certainly appreciative of the high school personnel that kind of their responsibility in this whole process was to get their students lined up and move through the process. Kind of the rest of it, we took care of. So we certainly want to express appreciation specifically to these individuals: Scott Reimer, Scott Turner, Terry Brinkman, Philip David, Ken Owens, Travis Forrester, Janet Loggy, and Thane Stewart for the coordination with their teams. Also thanks to Betsy Schaus, Eric Williams, Karen Capp, Tara Dean, Maureen Tiller, David McDonald, Marissa Lewis, Brenda Bird, Megan Michelle Hoper, Tracy Hogan, and Rob Rhodes for their coordination on logistical pieces with the schools. That group of people right there, supported by their employees, they're really the ones that ran everything. From the guest services of people that came in as visitors, down to making sure the students moved in the manner they should move, and then teachers and faculty from schools knew what they should do. We also express our appreciation to Captain Mike Reinhardt, the Greenville Sheriff's Office, and the county SROs, Sergeant Kevin Cox with Greenville City Police and Greenville City SROs, American Security, with whom we contracted for the wanding of individuals, the checking of bags, and the checking of tickets, Simpsonville Police, Malden Police, Travelers Rest Police, and Career Police. All of those individuals provided personnel and support that made this event possible for our students. Not only do we appreciate their efforts, but we appreciate the support of the board in carrying this out. It was, as I think everyone who was there, who witnessed it, who's heard about it, who participated in it, it was a tremendous effort, but it was made possible by an incredibly high level of teamwork on the part of all of these people and the hundreds of people, literally hundreds of people that reported to them that made this thing go. So I wanted to express my appreciation tonight to them personally, although we're not able to be in person with all of them. All of them are hearing what we're saying about this. To express my appreciation to all their efforts to make sure this happened and this went well. And, I think we might try to provide them a little more specific token of appreciation. We probably want them to have a day off at no cost to them, because they did put in a little extra effort. We don't have any cash bonuses we can hand out in this very tight economy. So we can recognize them with a little opportunity to be off. We don't have a July the 4th holiday this year, so for these folks and the people that work for them, they're going to get a July the 4th holiday in appreciation of their work.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. I will say that you and everyone involved did an outstanding job for the graduations. I've heard nothing but great things. Parents were thrilled that they were able to see their children walk across the stage. So I thank you for your leadership and for your vision for allowing this to happen and for spraying that Bon Secours wellness arena down morning and night. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
It's a lot of work, and those floors are hard. Cement floors that are rough and tough on your back. So thank you so much. It's a great experience. With that being said, we'll go to 5.01, general obligations bond resolution. Dr. Royster.
Ms. Stack.
Thank you, Dr. Royster. Presented to you tonight is the FY21 general obligation bond resolution. The recommended motion from the administration is to approve the resolution for the FY21 general obligation bonds.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sayers.
I move to approve the resolution for the fiscal year 2021 general obligation bonds as presented.
Second by Ms. Wells. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. At 5.02, debt service budget, Dr. West.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Ms. Stacks?
Thank you, Dr. Boyster. Presented to you tonight is the FY 21 debt service budget. Recommended motion from the administration is to approve the FY 21 debt service budget.
Mr. Reed? Reed, I make that motion to approve.
What do you have? Yes, ma'am, I'll make a motion to approve.
The FY 21 debt service budget. Is there a second? Ms. Morrison Fair, any questions? Ms. Wells?
So now, we ended up with an extra 2 million beyond what we had anticipated, the budget in our debt service, right? Look at our 1920 budget and our projected revenue and expenditures. Our budget is 139.9, or 141.9 for the year. So just kind of help me, because this is kind of like building fund. So does that, when we have more than we project there, does that typically always then get kind of transferred over to the building fund to fund items that are building fund already?
You're talking about the debt service budget, not the
Yes.
best debt service budget.
That's correct.
Yeah, any revenue we would have there in excess of expense for that year, it goes to a project you've already approved. In fact, the schedules are based on, rather on an assumption of about a 1% differential each year. But we hope it's going to be more than 1%, we build it on 1%. So it goes towards the 1%, 1% we projected. And usually it's in excess of 1%.
That's it, not extra. But it's $2 million beyond what we had kind of planned in our projections.
It's some number a little bit less than $2 million, but it's beyond what we projected.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And by the time we get to market is when we decide exactly how much the bond sale will be. And that's in the August timeframe.
Any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. F, 5.03.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sanders.
I move to approve the fiscal year 2021 best debt service budget.
The, motion was, by Mr. Sailors and second by Mr. Sutton. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. 5.04, building fund budget, FY 21 building fund budget.
Madam Chairman, motion to approve the FY 21 building fund.
Okay. So, motion was made by Mr. Sutton, second by Ms. Goodwin Caldwell. Questions? Ms. Wells?
The technology refresh line item, what was 4.9 and it's 13 and a half coming year. What's the?
The funding for the personal learning device program was out of general fund balance previously. And this is the first year that it's always funded out of the building fund.
So will that be a recurring, so now we're looking at 13 and a half million plus a year.
It does fluctuate some over time related to the amount of availability we have, kind of like to smooth some of the construction projects, but thereabouts that number.
Thank you.
One other thing before you vote on that, just to make note, that transfer has already been made that you all approved last night, correct?
Yes, it is.
So it should, I don't know if you got a chance to look at that, but it's already reflected in your new building fund budget, which are in the housing.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please express by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion carries. 5.05 FY 21 Food and Nutrition Services Budget.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sayers.
I'd like to move to approve the fiscal year 2021 food and nutrition services budget.
Motion was made by Mr. Sutton, Mr. Saylor, seconded by Mr. Sutton. Any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I don't have a question as much as I do a statement.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Royster, I'm assuming that Mr. Urban, Mr. James, your leadership in the nursing, building services areas are listening to tonight's meeting.
Sure. Mr. Urban is, because he's got a special revenue, but
Okay.
I wouldn't commit to the others listening, but we will share with him whatever.
I just think this board owes, and this district, but this board owes to your administration, most specifically, food, nutrition services, transportation, nursing, and building services. A huge debt of gratitude for being able to serve 1.3 million meals over a short period of time, delivering food via buses, the ability to log on to the internet via our Wi-Fi to low-income communities and so forth. They were able to pull off a miracle that, to me, was as impressive as what Mr. McCoy and the instructional side of the house was able to pull off when it came to us having to shut down for COVID and making sure that every child had instruction, every child was fed, every child was safe. And so I'd like to go on record this evening just thanking all of those staff members, both on the operations side of the house and on the instructional side of the house, making something positive come out of something that was a challenge that none of us have seen in our life. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. We'll make sure that those that weren't listening in receive the message.
Ms. Wells.
I want to echo around what Mr. Saylor said. The pivots they had to make too. We had someone that was working at a location that tested for COVID, the pivots they had to make to adjust to that, still work deals was pretty incredible. So my thanks as well. I do have a question on this one too. So we have $4.3 million in fund balance that we used. We originally budgeted $750. That's the fund balance from their account, right? Because they're here pretty empty.
That is the food service fund balance. There were additional costs with all the things that you just acknowledged, Mr. Saylor's listed out. That was covered through food service fund balance. Take anything from the general fund.
So we're projecting as if we're gonna kind of be back to normal, because that's kind of what we have to plan for. What sort of fund balance do they have available as any kind of vision next year? If we don't need the same numbers, we have to put it differently.
Right now, they have a 4-month expenditure fund balance set aside after FY20.
And then we've already transferred money for equipment purchases for new construction, so it doesn't include that. It's just purely different.
That's right. What's the magnitude of that amount? Right, you said 4 months, what's the dollar?
Yeah, it's around 18.
And we've already, so at some point we were moving, make sure we were transferring back to the general fund as much as we could in terms of labor burden and other costs like that. Have we kind of hit the ceiling of what we?
We take the max percentage we're allowed, then if we can identify direct costs. One example comes to mind, the refrigeration people that work exclusively on food service equipment. But we pay them out of food service, we don't pay them out of maintenance, even though they work for money. But anything like that we can do to relieve the general fund cost, do that, or we can identify. I think two other items of note, filling off the asset for the mice. No increase in student meals. There is an increase in adult meals that we're required to So those are the two meal price points of interest or support.
Is there any reimbursement that could come that we haven't accounted for?
It's possible we might get, there might be some, we take a premium for people that work directly with people during COVID. Because there were, for example, there were food service workers that were at home, but they would get paid. So these people got, I don't want to call it a bonus, but a premium extra pay. There may be some possibility to file for reimbursement that we're not real clear on it, but we will attempt to collect in areas where we can't collect like that. We don't want to submit that under CARES Act because then it would go over into the restricted area of food service instead of in the unrestricted area.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Ms. Bush?
Yes, I just wanted to echo to what my father had said, and that not only were they doing their job, but I've got so many comments from parents and from community members that everyone went above board and was so pleasant and so caring. Bus drivers were, I think that they were just above and beyond what a paycheck was paying them to do, that they sincerely cared about the mission that they were on and how important it was to these families. Not only the feeding their minds, but feeding their tummies and their hearts. So anyway, my appreciation. And I guess I'm not sure how it would relate budget-wise, but in next year's planning, and I know that really right now we really don't have an idea of what it's going to look like in the fall, but the how the logistics of food service and what they might be faced with or what we might be faced with as a district, if we do like a 1 or 2 day an abbreviated week, and how the logistics would work on not only then feeding those students that were at school, but our responsibility that would be in those, if they attended school 2 days a week and they were home 2 days a week, getting that food home with either home with those children or how whether it would have to be picked up, and how would we anticipate that affecting food and nutrition budget?
Well, I don't know about a budget that we're trying to, because we had to tap into fund balance food service this year. We got to be real careful in doing that next year. But when we began to talk about what that framework might look like, to be able to go from nobody there to everybody there and all those things in between, all the areas within the district, including food and nutrition services, were in this room or on a Zoom call so that Joe and his staff could begin to look at, well, if we're there with half of the students there 2 days a week, what does food service delivery look like? How would we serve that? So they've been involved at the outset in working up, well, how can we do what we need to do if it's this environment? How can we do what we need to do if it's this environment? So they've been a part of that planning process throughout, and will continue to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for saying that. My observation about that in talking with those people, they really believe, and rightfully so, they will make a contribution. That they really, and they shouldn't believe that. They really believe that, and they enjoy doing it.
That was very obvious.
It was hard work, but they really enjoyed it.
Mr. Lewis? Thank you, Ms. Bush. Mr. Lewis?
I mean, a lot of us, that I'm just overwhelmed by the food service program. On a normal day, what an incredible work they do. But I was at the Judson YMCA the other day, and their summer camp kids, it's Thursday, and walked down to Hollis to get lunch at their field trip. Thursday lunch, Friday breakfast, Saturday, Sunday breakfast, Saturday, Sunday lunch, all in these giant people, and each of them got a gallon of milk to bring back. It just really struck me in that one picture how much we're doing for children and families that is way outside of what I think people really understand. It's just really remarkable to me, and I really appreciate all of that. I guess the one question I have is I think you answered the question, just I can make sure in the recommendation to accelerate ed group, there was a recommendation that food service programs prepare to feed students can't come to school for a week at a time. I know this recommendation just came out yesterday, and that's not what we're looking at. But I mean, are we working towards some kind of a plan where if kids are gone for that?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of that. When you think about the continuum, that framework that we put together, it starts with 0 and it goes to 5 billion. So 0 is everybody at home like they were in the spring. So that one, now they may choose to do it. We may not do it using buses. It might be like we're doing in the summer. We had to shift. One of the things that does, it does say food service money. We shifted to the 51 fixed, 49 of the 51 elementary schools as fixed sites. So if we have to go back to 0 days in school, it might go to a fixed site distribution or fewer mobile sites. But yeah, they're looking at everything from 0 to partial to. Thank you for your comments, sir.
Anyone else? Hearing none. All those, and first, a motion. All those in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 5.06 special revenue budgets.
Madam Chairman, move to approve the FY 21 special revenue budget.
A second. Second by Ms. Bush. Motion made by Mr. Sutton. Any questions? All the, hearing none. Did you know? Hearing, no. Hearing none. All those in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion carries. 5.07, Duke Energy Carolinas LLC easement request at Fountain High School. There's a recommended motion by the administration. Yes, Ms. Wells.
To approve the easement as requested by Duke Energy Carolinas LLC, Fountain High School.
And so, the motion's made by Ms. Wells, second by Dr. Cristobal O'Connor. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Are y'all tired? Is something wrong with y'all right now?
They're watching the clock and they think they can get to 8 o'clock.
Oh, well, let me hurry. Let
Only
me
got 4 minutes.
Okay, let me go. My apologies. I'm feeling bad. Okay, let me stop. Let's proceed. Information item 6.01, facilities project update, Ms. Grayson.
Yes, I just wanted to know what the anticipated completion date is for the Blue Ridge High weight room.
So, the completion date, Blue Ridge weight room, estimated time.
Along with about 8 other weight rooms, we're looking at spring of 22.
Okay.
2020.
Is it being built adjacent to the high school so that the kids don't have to go out in the rain?
We are still developing the site plans for those, Ms. Grayson. I think we're very close to solidifying the location of those first 9 weight rooms. And we should know that in the next, I'm guessing in the next few weeks.
Okay, well, if at all possible, I would like for the kids to be able to access the weight room without having to go out in the rain. or it being out located close to the football field where the EMS and the police are stationed in case of an emergency.
We'll definitely get the details on that.
All right, thank you. If you could send me that when you have it, I'd appreciate it. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Grayson. Anyone have any other questions for Mr. Carlin? Yeah, Mr. Lewis.
We'll talk a little bit about the playground. So I know
Sure.
we're now in the process where we're improving those playgrounds. And the time when we approved the funding, we weren't 100% sure what we needed and what was going to be covered. Can you just get a little bit of detail about what these playground projects involve?
If you like for us to, we can send you a little spreadsheet list that kind of has the criteria that shows what each project encompasses by school. And I think it probably also shows the timeline from the zero.
It has the priority
Right.
that was set by Ms. Hogan. And which, like, for instance, right now, we're working on the first, I think it's 14 of them, based on her initial priority. And each site has a different set of characteristics.
Right.
And the scope, what it is. But in all of them, it's making sure we provide that accessible route so that, all our students, depending on no matter what their capabilities are, will have access to this.
We'll send you that spreadsheet, give it a little checklist, and see what's added. And kind of bring equity to it and ensure they're ADA compliant. Yes.
Dr. Christopher O'Connor. Over here. Come on, Chris. Come on, You're an education. Dr. Christopher O'Connor.
I don't think I have my hand up. Couldn't be
Okay. Anyone else? No. Mr. Goodwin Hall.
On the playground projects.
Yes, ma'am.
Were these the only schools that needed ADA accessible, or all of the other schools compliant?
Oh, they're just about every elementary school. These are the ones we're currently working on. Again, the priority, when we met with Ms. Hogan, set the priority was when we would be working on these. These are the first 14 we're working on and have raised the school year.
Okay. All right. Ms. West.
The playgrounds that we partner with the city of Greenville on, are they still doing their part of maintaining those, and are they helping with any of this work that might need to be done on the playgrounds, the elementary schools that are in the city?
I don't know that answer. I'll have to get that for you. I don't know of any contribution they're providing as a part of any of these projects.
I believe the answer to your question is yes and no. Yes, as far as I know, I don't think we're aware of any place where they're not meeting their obligation. But no, they've not contributed anything to this ADA project. And we have to go back and see, I think the last one that they contributed to was Summit Drive. And so I'm sure it would have been ADA compliant because of what it was done, but I have to check just to make certain that's the case.
I know that's a priority for them too, so I think it would be worth asking them to say, we have that agreement for the use of our playgrounds partnership, and asking them if they would cost share in that, the ADA accessibility things prior to things.
Of course, right now, they're all for it.
Right.
Even if don't use it.
Yes. Anyone else? Mr. Carlin, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it. Well, Mr. Barber, 6.02, and current auditing project status report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. We're presenting our status report on projects that we're currently working on. And today we issued the report of Berea High School, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Carlin? This is his last report. He is retiring. Anyone? Mr. Mead, any words of wisdom?
Enjoy that.
As well as I don't have a question, but I would like to say something.
Please,
All right.
please, yes.
Rick, on behalf of the administration, thank you for your service. Appreciate what you've done, the work you've done on behalf of our students. The diligence and the integrity that you brought to that process. I've enjoyed getting to know you, work with you over the years. Wish you well in your retirement. Congratulations. Well deserved. I know you will enjoy maybe a little golf, baseball, if they ever bring baseball back. And, but thank you so much for what you've done and the contribution you made. We appreciate it, and good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Also, Dr. Chris Ball.
Yeah, I think I said my piece when I found out you were leaving. I hope you remember it because it was very cool. And I don't want to repeat it all because we already said it, but it's hard to say it live. But I want you to know that it's amazing to have known someone for 22 years. But completed. When I got here, it was as though you'd been here a really long time because you were so well versed on everything about the district, thoughtful, and you never had an approach gotcha for any of your work or for discovering, but you always had an eye for teaching people ways to do things better and helping them learn. And that approach was perfect for the work you did in a school district because we are all about learning and improving and getting better. And you taught me a lot in my early time here about the kinds of questions to ask, the things to look for, and things that happened that didn't. And I just want to say I miss you and I really thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. And that's a lot of my staff were the ones out there teaching, so hats off to them.
Yes.
You know, we were instructed never to be too tough on anybody. I mean, we're there to help and try to instruct and teach and learn and so forth. They did an excellent job.
Thank you. And pass along our thanks to
As well.
Barbara, I don't know which one of these superintendents started under. Now, I would ask you which one.
Dr. Kearns.
Dr. Worcester, he said something like, I'm not going to ask you. I will say, I'm sure,
You know, Dr. Kurtz is hired again, or since the board has it. It's just not when they hired us.
I will say, I can't imagine in the 10 years that I've been on the board, our board has changed. The dynamic of our board has changed. The way we interact with each other and then with superintendent daughter, all that has changed just in that amount of time. So the time that you've been here, I'm sure that there's been a lot of adaptation and a lot of flexibility. You've had a great job to be able to deal with new boards and new superintendents, and new staff. So I just want to say how much I appreciate that you came in here every month ready to answer a question, you know, ready to lay things out, need to lay out, never impatient with our questioning or our lines of our questions or anything else. So thank you for that and for kind of being unwavering in the support that you're providing, because the job you're in is not an easy one by any stretch. I'm sure. I just appreciate of the diligence that you have. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Barber, we didn't keep you till midnight.
I heard it was gonna be a long meeting. Normally the budget, budget's going normally pretty quickly.
We thought it was gonna be long, but I was just scooting right through these, 0.50 ones and just finished them up right and left. But anyway, thank you so much. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your life. Enjoy not having to come here every month, and, face the fire squad sometimes, done it well, you survived all these years. I just want to tell you, thank you. You were hired to do a job, and you've done it well all these years, and we are very appreciative of your service, your dedication, and your commitment to Greenville County School District, and all the lives that you touched and you changed over the years. Wish you and your family and your life wonderful time. Relax, don't stress, all good. And we want you to take your
That's
flight.
right.
Everyone, Rick, and on behalf of Expressions.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
I've enjoyed it. It's been a real good experience, working with everybody in the administration and board. And, with a very challenging position and, learned a lot. And, hopefully we made a difference over the last. Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, so we are at 7.01, committee liaison report. Mr. Lewis, do you have anything?
Only that I thank every board member for being present at the advocacy committee meeting, so you have all heard.
Mr. Nee, anything?
I think most of the board members were, I mean, yes,
Yes.
those were not. We did get a lot of things settled. We will have another meeting tonight. Everybody's welcome. Hopefully we'll be working with policy, just more details. Hopefully it'll be ready for Cal meeting on August, that.
Yes, sir. And, anyone else have anything? Before we get to the last, finance report, which won't take long, I'd just like to thank Nancy Fitzer for all that she's done for me over the last year as being chairman. I think she's on my sleep schedule. She does not sleep. She's answering all these hundreds of emails about all kinds of different interesting topics. I'd like to thank both Nancy and Terry Brinkman. They are great people behind the scenes that really step up and make us look good and take care of a lot of business that we sometimes not want to address or know how to address. I'd like to thank both of you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so very, very, very much. And with that being said, (8:01) financial report. We'll go to Dr. Worcester, who will go.
As well, so the staff will stay here, how long y'all want to talk to her about the financial report. I thought I did. We don't really have a financial report, so we spent last night on that, but if you have any questions, Bob.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Okay, so I am one that has to call on people, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chairman, I move we adjourn this meeting.
Mr. Nee?
A second.
All those in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?